extra crit and extra damage and extra accuracy with Beyond. I use the increased AoE gem for just mapping, and then switch it to Conk Effect for bosses. Pretty much nothing can hit you. Make this run a bit slower, but I'm going to do this to this. That's an example. Use Blade Vortex, bam, everything's dead. Cast over storms, power charges up. Alright, so we're gonna kill the boss now. Put a TP up just in case. Sometimes I do die. Stay behind this guy. Dodge the balls. Put Orb of Storms down to get some power charges up. Switch to Conk Effect because you totally forgot. Alright, now I should be able to kill the boss a lot faster with the Conk Effect in. If it doesn't bug out. Crap. Sometimes you just get unlucky. Oh my god, these balls keep hitting me. There we go.
Key to a crucible that stretches the sanity of the mind.
So that was a T16 map with huge increased crit, increased monster damage, increased more monster damage, beyond increased accuracy, and player dodge chances unlucky. So that even makes my evasion kind of pointless. So this is my character. She's going to do a lab run right now. I do have Lab Compass up and the current map loaded for today. So Lab Compass is available at poelab.com under the tools section, and you download a JSON file, and it gives you the layout for the day, the best route to take. It informs you of dark shrines, gauntlets, silver keys, everything. Argus. Anyways, let's show this example. Oh, friends be trolling. Almost died there by accident. Luckily that so I have 2 weapon swaps. I have one for running and one for bossing. This is the one for bossing right now. And I forgot to put in my conk effect, I believe, but Desaro's still dead really fast. Oh, I had conk effect in. I switch back to my running gear. Could have killed Argus in that room, but I'm just doing a speed run for now. Golden door. Kill some monsters here for some flasks real quick. Run through all these traps. Grab the golden key. As you can see, I have to run on predictive mode because the character can't keep up with the servers when you do it the other way. When you run on lockstep. So just keep that in mind. If you're running on lockstep, you might experience some weird lag and stuff.
There must be a golden door. Gold is the most liberating of metals. When the time comes to strike, an emperor strikes some things that slumber should never be awoken.
Keep your arcane surge up.
Pity the emperor who sits alone on his throne.
And when running the labyrinth, when in doubt, top right probably. I thought there was a thing there. My bad. Try not to use up all your flasks before the boss.
An aspirant can afford to be promising. An emperor, you must navigate your empire through troubled.
So this layout today wasn't very great. So that's why it's taking me a while. And Azaro's dead.
Is more dangerous than the journey, Ascendant.
So if you want to see how good we did versus the whole server, you go to the Path of Exile forums, go to events, Labyrinth Ladders, change it to Eternal, and we're in 9th place at the moment, which isn't that great. But another 30 seconds or so doing that, just doing that over and over again will get you into the top 5 for sure. Ascendency choices are Nature's Adrenaline, Nature's Boom, Master Alchemist, and Veteran Bower. Normal Lab is Nature's Adrenaline. Cruel Lab is Veteran Brower for give you extra flask charges while leveling. Merciless Lab is Nature's Boon, and Uber Labyrinth is Master Alchemist. So there's a lot of path or increased flask effect on you in the Pathfinder skill tree, so making our flasks even more powerful. So now we're going to go over the gem links. In our first weapon we have our Orb of Storms set up. So it's Orb of Storms, Arcane Surge at level 7. So this is when you spend 32 mana, you gain Arcane Surge for 4 seconds, which is actually like about 8 seconds on this character, as you can see. Because we have such... we have a lot of increased duration nodes. The other weapon has Enfeeble level 5, Vortex level 4, and cast when damage taken level 1. So this casts Vortex, which slows down the enemies, and Enfeebles, so the enemies can kill you a little bit less. Next we're going to go with the gloves. So we have our Lightning Golem in there with faster casting when he casts his stuff. He also has Culling Strike on it, so when he casts very fast, he can call the bosses for you. In our boots we have Enhance, Phase Run, Increased Duration, and Efficacy. So Efficacy, as you can see with this highlighted here, Phase Run gains from all 3 of these gems, so it gains quality from Enhance, it gains more duration from Increased Duration, and even more duration from Efficacy. So we have a 5.69 second Phase Run, thanks to our helmet here. I'm going to go through the helmet now. We got Cast when damage taken level 1, Immortal Call level 3, Increased Duration max level, and Smoke Mine. So this gives us a 15.58 second Smoke Mine, which gives us a huge boost in movement speed. Our main gem links are Increased Critical Strikes, Controlled Destruction, Efficacy, Blade Vortex, And make sure you get the Valve Blade Vortex, because there's no reason not to have the Valve Blade Vortex. Hypothermia, which I may in the future make it so that this is actually in power. I've been testing the two, and I'm not sure yet. The last link is concentrated effect. You can also have increased AoE as a swap for when you're mapping, and concentrated effect when you're bossing. So the 5 link would be increased critical strikes, controlled destruction, efficacy, blade vortex, and your concentrated effect or increased AoE gem. And that should cover the gems. There is nothing on the Switch right now because I don't feel like there's a need to be any increased. Sorry. I don't feel like there's a need for any custom damage taken setup here because we run so fast through the enemies and phase through them that there's no real point. And that should cover the gem setup. Next we're gonna go through the passive tree really quick. So I'll do a quick overview, and then I'll show you what is required for leveling. So up here we have our flask effect duration nodes, jewel socket, life nodes, spell crit, life, mind over matter, which helps with our defenses. Tiny bit more life here. We'll go down to get a jewel socket. In addition to that, we get our skill effect duration nodes. We go down to the life wheel, take the whole thing. More life is better, usually. Another skill duration node. Mana node for mind over matter, giving us extra mana. Some life and flask. Life recovery rate from flask nodes. Another jewel socket. More life, in addition to having the ignore all movements penalties from armor skill point. More mana nodes. More mana nodes. Health and evasion nodes at the start. We go up to the top of our skill tree and we get crit multiplier and crit chance nodes. Another jewel socket. Evasion and life rating, with a little bit of fizz damage, which helps our blade vortex. We get increased cast speed, in addition with some more life, some more crit, and some more life and resistances, and a little bit of fizz damage in between. So leveling wise, you would go down here, pick your attack speed, pick the finesse skill, go down to here, grab all this for life at the start, go back up here, grab the skill duration nodes, go over here, grab the life wheel, not the whole thing, just this little 3 section here, grab the other increased effect duration nodes, and then go up and grab mind over matter. By that time you should be around 50, 45-ish. Probably maybe 55, perhaps. Go around here, get the life, get this crit, get the flask effect duration nodes, and get the remaining life over here. Then we start going up this skill tree, getting the crit nodes and the crit multi. Going up to this section, getting coordination in addition to the life. Get trickery and go all the way down to cold-hearted calculation. And then get the physical damage and the resistances and physical damage. And anything else like this life wheel right here, we get that at the end once we're like about mid 80s or so, in addition to the extra mana nodes. And that should about cover our skill tree. And now we're going to go through the gear. So our main important things are our flasks. So we have a bleed flask with hybrid life. So when we get hit, we get rid of some of our mana with Mind Over Matter, and this will recover that in about 3.3 seconds, which is pretty quick. We got extra damage as Chaos from our Xeris Flask. We got Alchemist Jade Flask of Reflexes, which increases the effect of the flask. So instead of giving us 3,000 evasion, it'll give us way more than 3,000 evasion. In addition to that, the percent increased damage rating scales the 3,000 evasion from the flask. So even with just this flask, I go from 33,000 to 74,000, which is huge. The next flask is a Stibnite Flask. So this creates a smoke cloud, blinding the enemies in nearby. And I wanted to have Adrenaline because we want to move fast, fast, fast. This one is a Alchemist Quicksilver Flask of Warding. It removes curses on use, which is very useful for temp change maps and obviously bossing. And it has a increased effect, so it makes it run even faster as it's a Quicksilver Flask. Going to our gloves, we just have generic gloves. With lots of evasion, resistances, and life. The belt is very important. It needs to have the 20% reduced flask charges used, and only 20%. So with this, you can use a flask that's normally used twice. You can use it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And that is applicable to all these flasks. We get life and evasion on that. I mean, life and resistances. The life recovery rate on this belt is just icing on the cake for me. But you can craft that with one of the masters. Maybe. I'm not sure about the new patch. Boots are at Xeris Step. They give us huge evasion rating, spell dodge, and life. Try to get increased attack and cast speed. If you've killed recently, it's a very good enchant it makes mapping very smooth. We use the Queen of the Forest for its 450% evasion rating per 1% movement speed, up to 100%. Makes us super duper fast. We use an Essence Worm ring with Grace in it, which I've forgotten the gem links, but oh well. This reserves no more mana and allows us to run Grace for free, basically. Ring is just life, resistances. Same with the amulet. If you can get evasion rating on it, that's great. If you can get crit multi, that's even better. We have 2 stat sticks, so gain X of physical damage as extra X. So either extra fire, extra lightning, extra cold, or of a random element. Either one works. You want 2 of those per item. Gives us a lot of extra damage. If you can get spell crit on them, that's beneficial as well. If not, it won't break the bank, but it helps a lot with Zaro. Our helmet is Devoto's Devotion, which gives us movement speed and increased phase duration. Run duration 36%, so it makes our phase duration even greater. Our switch weapons which is why we want a long phase duration time, are Allure Claws. They give us 15% increased movement speed while phasing, and that stacks between the two, so that's 30% increased movement speed while phasing, along with the increased movement speed you get from phasing. And that should about cover the gear. And now we're going to go through leveling. So when you first start out, you're going to start out as a bow character with Burning Arrow. Go to town, get Split Arrow, get any bow, and level up to level 12. Once you get to level 12, you can get Blade Vortex. I would suggest getting a lower level Val Blade Vortex at the start with some quality if you can. If you can't do that, then you're going to have to Val your Blade Vortex when they're level 2020. And hopefully you get one. Our 4 link would be Val Blade Vortex, Controlled Destruction, Increased Critical Strikes, and Concentrated Effect. Our 5th link, when we do get a 5th link, is Efficacy. Our 6th link is either Hypothermia, which I don't really think helps on this character much. And I was going to switch that out with Empower to make our Blade Vortex about a level 23. Get your Golem. Put Calling Strike on him. Doesn't have to have faster casting or greater multiple projectiles yet. You want to get your Orb of Storm set up, so make sure you don't level your Arcane Surge past level 7. And you want to try to have a cast when damage taken setup. Chances are you probably just have cast when damage taken in Mortal Call. That's totally fine. If you can put increased duration on it, that's fantastic. Enfeeble, Vortex, and cast when damage taken again. Again, if you can get Vortex and cast when damage taken, that'd be great. Phase Run isn't really required for leveling, but you can use a final gem setup in the gem setup at the end, and that should cover leveling. This is going to be my final thoughts on the build. It's a fantastic build for League start. Utilizes Blade Vortex. Blade Vortex doesn't look like it's been nerfed in the patch notes, so it looks like it's going to be the exact same as it is right now. Character has plenty of evasion, defenses. You want to get all your fire resistances to 75. The chaos resistance doesn't really matter. When I hit all my flasks, I have 92,000 evasion. And Blade Vortex does a decent amount of damage. I will put the link to the paste bin in the description below. When you do go into the paste bin, whoops. Oh crap, it froze. When you do go into the paste bin, you go to down here where it says Manage Trees, and I will have a leveling tree for you guys, each about like 30 points or so, and you'll be able to select each one of them and see what ones you need to put in your points while you're leveling. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments below. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, and maybe perhaps follow me on Twitch. My Twitch ID is Automatrix A, AUTOMATRIXEH. I look forward to hearing your comments and your feedback, and thank you for watching my video. Have a great day.